In World History 2, we have covered 5 major world religions. We're going to look at real quickly what their location is, and this is tremendously important that you are able to actually play them out in your mind, that you have an idea of where the different religions are worldwide. So let's start with Hinduism. If we come up here, Hinduism, we'll designate that with red. So Hinduism started in India. Okay, so Hinduism started in India, and by the year 1500, which is when World History 2 begins in terms of content knowledge, Hinduism is still located in India. Okay, so peg Hinduism with India in your mind. The second religion that we need to talk about is Buddhism. Buddhism, we're going to designate with blue here. Buddhism, remember that the founder of Buddhism, Siddhartha Gautama, actually came from the beliefs of Hinduism, and when Asoka sent out missionaries to other countries, he actually sent them to places like Southeast Asia and to China. And eventually Buddhism's going to make its way across to Japan. So Buddhism today is designated as being located in Southeast Asia, in China, and in Japan. Okay? So you have Hinduism here in India, and you have Buddhism here in Southeast Asia, in China, and Japan. Our third religion we need to locate in the world is Judaism. Judaism in the year 1500, Judaism, which we will designate with green, was located in a number of different places. Judaism starts in Israel. Remember that Jesus was from Jerusalem, okay? And he was actually a follower of the Jewish faith. He was a Jewish priest, okay? And so the Jews start here in the Middle East in Israel. That's kind of their base. If we move with Judaism from there, the Jewish people, because the Romans stomped the Jews out of this area, and by stomped I mean they attacked them in 70 AD, and the Jewish had what was called the Jewish diaspora, in which they were spread across the world. The Jews went primarily up here into Europe, and they settled all across Europe. So what I'm going to do is just put dots across Europe, because the Jews were actually a minority religion within Europe. The majority religion we'll get to in a second. It's obviously Christianity. But in 1500, in terms of what you need to understand, is that the Jews were here in Israel, but they were primarily here in Europe. Okay? Most of the Jews had actually left Israel at that point. The next major religion is Christianity. I'm going to designate Christianity in black here. Christianity was actually an outgrowth of this man Jesus, okay, who was Jewish. And so what happened is the church is centered here in Rome, okay, with the Catholic Church, because the Roman Empire actually accepts Christianity. And so in 1500, Christianity is actually spread all across Europe. Okay? And that includes, and remember when we talk about Christianity, we are talking about Catholic and we are talking about Protestant. Christianity is going to dominate all of Europe, okay? And it is actually going to follow straight across here into the huge empire of Russia in the very most northern parts of Asia here. So when we talk about Christianity in the 1500s, the key is that Christianity was located in Europe. That's going to change with the Age of Discovery when Christianity is brought to North and South America. But in 1500, it's located there. Our final religion is Islam. Islam actually starts with a man named Muhammad who lived here on the Arabian Peninsula. Remember, Mecca and Medina are located right here, okay, and they're kind of the center of the Islamic faith, okay? And remember also that the Ottoman Empire is an Islamic empire. Okay? I'm going to go right over top of the Ottoman Empire here to show you where Islam begins. By 1500, okay, that's 1,000 years after Muhammad lived, Islam is going to spread straight across the top of Africa, all the way across here, and it's actually going to go up slightly into the very southern part of Europe. It's going to get into Spain here, and it's going to be stopped from getting into the rest of Europe by Charles Martel at the Battle of Tours. You talked about that in World War I. Okay? But the spread of Islam is basically across North Africa, what we call the Middle East, because this is the Eastern Hemisphere, so we're in the middle of it, the Middle East. And Islam moves into the Persian Empire, and they are going to move all the way over into the Mughal Empire, so the very northern part of India today, okay, is actually a country called Pakistan, and that is the Mughal Empire, and it is also, obviously then, Islamic. Okay? This whole area today, with the exception of the southern part of Spain, is still a majority of Muslims. This lays out where the world was in 1500 in terms of religion. Okay? In terms of religion, two of the religions stay very still. Okay? If we look at Hinduism, it was in India in 1500. Buddhism was in Southeast Asia and in China in 1500. Islam largely is still in the spots that it is in, although there are many Islamic people moving into Europe today. What changes drastically is Christianity. Europe actually, during the Age of Discovery, sent explorers across the ocean. Those explorers went into North and South America. Spain primarily sent people into South America, while England and Germany and France sent people into North America. As a result, today, North America, meaning Canada and the United States, are, and I won't color this whole thing, but just to give you an idea, they are all Christian and specifically Protestant. Once you get into the Spanish-speaking areas of the world, here, okay, in South America, they are also Christian, but they are specifically Catholic. Okay? Follow this in your mind, because Spain was a Spanish-speaking country. They brought Catholicism. They were a Catholic country, so they brought Catholicism over here to all of their Spanish-speaking countries. They brought both their language and their religion. Okay? England was obviously a Protestant country, and they spoke English, and as a result, North America has become Protestant, primarily Protestant, okay, as far as their Christianity goes. The Jewish people of the world, or Judaism, was here in Europe really until about 50 years ago. And because of the Holocaust, which we study late in this course, because of the Holocaust and the work of Hitler and the concentration camps and so on, the Jewish people largely left Europe. Today there is a very small population of Jews in Europe. The Jewish people actually went back to Israel, and they came across the ocean to the United States. The two big pockets of Jewish people in the world are actually today in the northeastern part of the United States, okay, and in Israel. So that explains the shifting that has gone on in the world in religion from 1500 to the present.